Good morning, everyone. Celebrating life, love, and light. Rumi. We. Celebrating life, love, and light. Rumi. We. While traversing on the path for attaining the status of a Sufi, when the seeker undergoes certain transitions, it requires an ecstasy. And the expression of that ecstasy is tasawwuf. While traversing on the path for attaining the status of Sufi, when the seeker undergoes certain transitions, it acquires an ecstasy. And the expression of that ecstasy is tasawwuf. It is in that state Rumi became a mystical poet. It is candle that you hold while your journey inwards or towards ultimate reality. You can choose any path as the road, but you cannot walk unless you see the path through the light of that candle, the tasawwuf. It is through the light that Rumi saw, it is through this light that Rumi saw the creative essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in everything and everywhere. Diwan-e-Shams is such an expression of tasawwuf. It was a fair orchard full of trees and fruits. It was a fair orchard full of trees and fruits and vines and greenery too. A Sufi there sat with eyes closed. A Sufi sat there with his eyes closed. His head upon his knee, sunk deep in the mystical meditation. Why, ask another? Do you not behold these signs of God, the merciful displayed around you, which he bids us contemplate? The signs, she answered. I behold within and without is nothing but symbol of signs. But symbol of signs. What is beauty in the world? What is beauty in the world? The image, like quivering boughs reflected in a stream, or that eternal orchard which abides unwithered in human hearts. Today, the world at large celebrates the 810th birth anniversary of Maulana Rumi. In the West, he is known as Mevlana Jalaluddin Rumi. For years, coping and following others, I tried to know myself, all in vain, indeed. All in vain. From within I could not decide what to do. Unable to see, suddenly I heard my name being called one day. Unable to see, suddenly I heard my name being called one day. Then a voice directed. I walked out in the openness of the horizon. I walked in the vastness of the open vastness of the horizon and felt the freshness of breeze as it surged through the beam. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. The breeze that blows at dawn has a secret to tell you. Do not go to sleep then. Know this secret. Know this secret. Tasawwuf is the very essence of Sufism and that of man's existence. Tasawwuf is the very essence of Sufism and that of man's existence. Yesterday was celebrated the Urs at the shrine of Naqshbandi Sheikh 39, 29th in the lineage of Naqshbandi, Mujaddadi, wa Majhariya, wa Ramchandriya Tariqat in New Delhi. The shrine of Hazrat Mazhar Mir Jane Jana Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu is at Turkman Gate in Old Delhi. It was in 1626 that Hazrat Amkan Ki Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu sent Hazrat Baqi Billah Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu to India. He said, I am sending you to a country far away whose very texture is soaked in spirituality. Baqi Billah stayed for 1 year in Lahore before settling in Delhi, where his shrine is. After that, it was in preparation for the second millennium with Hazrat Mujaddadi Alif-Sani Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu, Mehboob Subhani Mujaddid Alif-Sani Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu. His Khalifa Khas, Hazrat Khwaja Muhammad Masoom Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu, the lineage, how does it go? Hazrat Mujaddid Alif-Sani Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu, his second son. His eldest son was Hazrat Khwaja Muhammad Sadiq Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu, but he did not live long. He was 24 years of age when a plague inflicted in the city. One of the seekers dreamt, if anyone sacrifices his life, this Baba, this plague will save humanity from its effects. Hazrat Khwaja Muhammad Sadiq Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu offered his life and sacrificed. Then it was said, if anyone who takes the name of Hazrat Khwaja Muhammad Sadiq Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu and casts a glance at the water with his name, will surely cure of any kind of such situation. At the age of 24, he sacrificed his life. Second son, Hazrat Khwaja Muhammad Masoom Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu, appeared on the spiritual horizon, followed by his son Hazrat Khwaja Sheikh Saifuddin Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu. Then these three shrines, Hazrat Mujaddid Alif Sani Raziyallah Ta'ala Anhu, Hazrat Khwaja Muhammad Masoom, Hazrat Sheikh Saifuddin, their shrines are in Roses Sharif, Sirhind, outskirts of the capital, Chandigarh. From there, he comes down to the capital city, New Delhi, where on Lodi Road, after the Shiva temple is in the cemetery is the shrine of Hazrat Noor Muhammad Badayuni. Hazrat Noor Muhammad Badayuni, he was the master of Hazrat Habibullah, महबूब सुहानी हाबिबुल्लाह मिर्जा मजहर मीर जाने जाना, महबूब सुहानी हजरत मजहर मीर जाने जाना. His urs was celebrated yesterday. Shrine is on Turkman Gate in Old Delhi. Since this has already happened, and today is the 810th birth anniversary, the appearance of Jalaluddin Rumi, popularly known as Mevlana, one who gave the worldling a simplest way to attain to inner oneness. I choose to speak on him, and tomorrow will continue on the life and works of Mirza Mazhar Mir Jane Jana Razillah Ta'ala. Tasawwuf is the very essence of Sufism and that of man's existence. Evolving out of Islam, it has now become the part of the inner life of every seeker, every aspirant. Islam centers on four pillars: Shariat, Hadith, Tariqat, just give me a minute here. Continuing. Tasawwuf is the very essence of Sufism and that of man's existence. Evolving out of Islam, it has now become the part of the inner life of every seeker. Islam centers on four pillars: Shariat, the body of the scripture; Hadith, Tariqat, and Tasawwuf. Out of these, Shariat and Hadith form the part of the outer body of religion. Shariat and Hadith. And Tariqat, the way, and Tasawwuf form the inner core of the Holy Prophet Hazrat Payghambar Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Both Tariqat and Tasawwuf are connected to the nisbat of Holy Prophet and his Shaykh. Tariqat teaches you the way to nisbat. Tariqat, the way, teaches you the way to nisbat means inner connection between you and I, between you and the Shaykh. There is an inner connection. This is known as nisbat. And Tasawwuf, what does it do? It prepares you for inner serenity and for the continuation of the way of nisbat, the inner connection. In its essence, Tariqat and Tasawwuf form the part of each one of you, forms the part of each one of you. Tariqat prepares you along the way, and tasawwuf preserves your awareness. One prepares you and the other preserves. I am ecstatic. I am ecstatic as a Naqshbandi Sheikh of Naqshbandi Tariqat. I am now speaking on one of the sheikhs who is very close to my heart. Indeed, it is erroneous to say he is very close to my heart. That which is your heartbeat, that between who there is no gap, there is no distance. How can you say that he is close to you? There is an overlapping. The two are one. I am ecstatic that I am now presenting a few pages from the life and works of Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi. Rumi, as the insights of a sheikh, Jalal comes from Maulana or Mevlavi tariqat of the Sufi dervish. Jalaluddin very easily becomes the part of any Sufi tariqat because of his compositions that are heart-rending. In the last decade of the 20th century, the light that evolved out of life and love. The energy field of Jalaluddin Rumi has been strongly felt by a wide cross-section of people throughout the Western world. He is being recognized in the West now even more than Iranian poet Umar Khayyam. He is recognized much more than Iranian poet from Nishapur, Umar Khayyam. Coming from a tribal upbringing of Nishapur, is poet first who has been touched by something of the beyond. And in that state, a composition of 4 lines known as Rubai emerged. Rumi, on the other hand, is an enlightened sheikh. His compositions are insight for transformation. Whether he speaks on life or love, each composition is soaked in a tremendous insight. Jalaluddin Rumi is being recognized in the West as one of the greatest Sufi mystic and sheikh of all times, after Hazrat Shah Bahauddin Naqshband. Sporadically here and there, I'm taking you through the Naqshbandi, the Sufi tariqat. Hazrat Shah Bahauddin Naqshband, whose 700th anniversary, the Urs, was celebrated this month in the capital city of Bukhara in Uzbekistan. Hazrat Shah Bahauddin Naqshband. Naqshbandi tariqat evolved from Jat-e-Pak life of Hazrat Payghambar sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then with the advent of his chief disciple Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq Razillah Ta'ala, the tariqat came to be known as Siddiqiyya. His name got associated with it. The name continued, the tariqat came to be known as Siddiqiyya until the name changed to Tafurian with another sheikh of the tariqat. And this name Tayfurian, continued to be known as Tayfurian, and it was the 11th Sheikh of the Tariqat, Hazrat Ibn Khalid Gizdwani Razillah Ta'ala. With the advent of Ibn Khalid, the Tariqat came to be known as Khwazagania, and this name continued with it until the 17th Sheikh of the Tariqat in the lineage of the Naqshband, golden chain of the Naqshbandi masters, Hazrat Shah Bahauddin, emerged on the spiritual horizon. Naqshband was added to his name. It was added by his Sheikh, Hazrat Amir Kalal. And when the name Naqshband was added, changed, it continued till date, until eternity lasts. The tariqat will be known as Naqshband. Naqsh means actually impression. Band means one who makes the impressions. Shah Bahauddin was a potter by profession. He used to create the pottery. A clay is used to mold a pot in a particular shape, and then on that he used to inscribe intricate designs of inner search. His master said, "You are becoming Naqshband," and that's how the name Naqshband came into. In fact, when a seeker comes to a sheikh, he is like a raw clay. The sheikh molds him, gives him a shape and a form, and then on his heart inscribes the very essence of human existence. He molds him first. The raw clay is molded, and then he inscribes the essence of inward journey on his heart. This is Naqshband. Just as he has been recognized 7 centuries in the Middle East and the Western Asia, Rumi is more recognized for his intellectual prowess. In the West as a mystic, a time will soon come when he will be recognized as a mystic more than a poet. Still, West recognizes him for his compositions on life, love, and light. There are 3 essences. Life comes first. Life evolves in darkness. Then, when life evolves, it becomes love. Life is total darkness. Love is part light. Love is the twilight. Love is the twilight of life. Love indeed is the twilight of love, of life. Love is part dark, part light. Then comes light. Then comes light, the hierarchy, the Trinity. Life, love, and light. People are still fascinated in the West with the compositions, the aphorisms of life, aphorisms of love, and aphorisms on light. Different qualities of Rumi have been brought by variety of writers and translators. All these have presented Rumi as an intellectual force alone. Many new translations go on appearing day by day, and that have appeared during the 19th century have focused on various aspects of Rumi. There is one thing beautiful Rumi have used the words, the language, in such a way that language became the musical compositions. He chooses the same word to communicate different meanings. That's how the words have been used in his composition. The beautiful anecdote goes on. Jalal was very well recognized in intellectual circle as an elite, as the learned, the mullah, the Maulvi. He fell in love with Shams of Tabriz, and the bond was so intense. He brought his compendium of these aphorisms, known as Masnavi, Maulana Rum, and he brought to Shams. Without looking into, Shams need not see what it is written. Like a master, he saw the innerness of Rumi. All these compositions emerged from deep within. They were reflecting his innerness. Shams told him to throw it in the well. Without a second thought, an intoxicated Rumi threw the compendium, the Masnavi, in the well. Then he again wrote, again brought it, and the same fate happened. Shams said, throw it in the well. This process continued 39 times. When 40th time, he brought the compendium, and Shams blessed it. To celebrate this occasion, Jalal says, Maulvi hargiz na shud maulai room. Maulvi hargiz na shud maulai room. Ta gulam shams tabrezi na shud. Ta gulam shams tabrezi na shud. Maulvi hargiz na shud maulai room. Maulvi means the learned. Should is the verb in Arabic. Maulvi hargiz na shud maulai Rum. Maulana Rum could not be recognized as learned. Maulana Rum could not be recognized as learned. Ta gulam shams tabrezi na shud. Ta gulam shams tabrezi na shud. Ta, until. Gulame means surrendered. Ta gulam shams tabrezi nashud. Shams Tabriz, Raziyallah Ta'ala nashud. Until he accepted, until he surrendered to Shams Tabriz. And thereafter he wrote Masnavi Maulana Rum, that is considered as the aphorisms of life, love, and light. Then he did many compositions under the pen name of Shams. All these were the compositions of Jalal, which he dedicated to his master, Shams Tabriz. And these came to be known as Diwan-e Shams. There are certain compositions which remained unnamed, but they also form the part of Diwan-e Shams. Different qualities of Rumi have been brought out by a variety of writers and translators. If you are connected to the nisbat, the inner connection of Jalaluddin Rumi, then language becomes no barrier. You will understand, you will reach the essence, and through the essence, you reach to Jalal. His shrine is in Konya. Although he was born in the city of Balkh in Afghanistan, but he moved to Konya where his shrine is, Jalaluddin Rumi. He has been presented as refined and sensual, sober and ecstatic, deeply serious and extremely funny, ratified and accessible. It is the essence of his profound universality that he has been so many things to so many people. When I was writing the leaves from the Sufi heart, an awakened, enlightened sheikh taking you through the pages, leaves from the Sufi heart, leaves through the awakening. I thought there can be no better person as introduction to Jalal, and used his compositions to introduce each chapter of the volume 1, leaves from the Sufi heart, that began with the tariqat and started from Hazrat Payghambar sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the 17th sheikh. From here, tariqat underwent a process of transformation. The stream that was continuing as one got divided into many sub-streams. Many other streams emerged on the spiritual horizon. I had to pause there. When the volume 2 was to begin with parables of Shah Bahauddin Naqshband, I was so ecstatic that I overflowed. I began with Jalaluddin Rumi. Volume discontinued until we reached the second and beginning of the second millennium, the advent of Hazrat Mehboob Subhani, Hazrat Mujaddid Alif Sani Razillah Ta'ala, whose shrine is in Rosa Sharif in Sarhind, city of Chandigarh. That from here begins the third volume. Third volume encompasses the development and growth of Naqshbandi Tariqat in Indian subcontinent, where the stream of the Hindu sheikhs, about whom the predictions were made by the sheikhs of the Tariqat, that two people from Hindu religion will come and they will be the true inheritor of this Tariqat. And the two Hindu sheikhs happen to be Janab Sheikh Ramchandra Lalaji Razillah Ta'ala and his younger brother Sufi Naqshbandi Sheikh Raghuvar Dayal Razillah Ta'ala. The Tariqat from there came to Hazrat Naqshbandi Sufi Brij Mohan Lal Razillah Ta'ala and Sufi Brij Mohan Lal Razillah Ta'ala happened to be the father of my mother. From the mother's side, my grandfather. Followed by my uncle, Hazrat Naqshbandi Omkar Nath Raziyallah Ta'ala, who entered in Alamega in 2008. The tariqat continued. I could not resist from using the compositions of Rumi as the light along the path. In the beginning, when you are traversing along the narrow subways and byways, various stages of the inward journey, you need light. There can be no better light than Jalaluddin Rumi. Although there was a sign of his profound universality that has been so many things to so many people, no effort has been made to present Rumi as a mystic or as a sheikh. He is more known as a poet whose compositions are on the lips of many, but no effort was made to present Rumi as a mystic, as a sheikh. And also no effort has yet been made to create maraqba or meditations around the compositions of Rumi. Each composition of Rumi is a way to transcend beyond the duality of the words. He uses the word, takes you from the very essence, the physical aspect of love. Love is not physical, not emotional. There are three layers through which love's journey begins. First is the level of the body, the tanka tal, the level of the body. Deeper than that is the plane of emotions through which you balance the emotions, remove the inner knots that each interaction at the plane of love creates. When love appears at the physical horizon, it affects the emotions in myriad ways, creates many blockages and bondages, and journey comes to cessation. So this is the second plane. And the third is the spiritual plane, the plane of energy. When love transcends the quagmire of body and emotions, then it takes you on a deeper voyage, the inner core of the being. Rumi's compositions have not been used. Rumi's compositions have not been used as the very essence of meditation. My work, Marak by Rumi, was an effort to use the compositions of Jalaluddin Rumi and create meditations around it, and thus bring about tremendous insights hidden deep within each and every syllable that Rumi spoke. Each and every syllable that Rumi spoke that forms the essence of meditation. Ever since I have known myself, I have been hearing the Persian compositions of Rumi from Naqshbandi sheikhs during the regular meditation discourses. This fascinated me to go deeper into the compositions of Rumi. As a result, When I decided to work on Naqshbandi Tariqat, I chose to begin each chapter of the Leaves from the Sufi Heart, Volume 1, Volume 2, and now the Volume 3, with the English translations of Rumi. The fascination and the urge grew even more and continues to grow beyond the horizons. And when the essence of Sufism was planned, I used a few of the compositions of Rumi and created meditations around the insights of Rumi as a sheikh, and thus presented a Sufi methodology for transformation of human consciousness. A new dimension was added to the realm of Rumi. Still more work is needed to be done. Then came Marag by Rumi. It is for the first time that a sheikh of a tariqat has used the compositions of Rumi to create meditations around for the transformation of the seekers. While many other poets have a mystical vision and have tried to express it in a graspable language, Rumi, on the other hand, has never attempted to bring his vision to the level of the mundane, but we give it a mundane flavor. Instead, he has always expected, nay, demanded the reader to reach higher and higher and still higher for his own spiritual understanding, and then perhaps be able to appreciate what Rumi was saying. This is the difference between Rumi and other poets. This is the reason that Rumi stands as the pen races at the top of the on the spiritual horizon. Perhaps this is the reason that there are so many layers to his poetry. As I have spoken, the physical layer, the emotional layer, and then the different aspects of emotions. Emotion is a comprehensive word, but it has many layers embedded into it. This is the reason that there are so many layers to his poetry. These layers are not so much because of his writing, instead because of your understanding. You are. And as your understanding transcends, you can grasp more and more of what Rumi wants to convey to you, contribute in the process of your transformation. Yet there is more. While many of the translations of Rumi's poetry have tried to convey the immense wisdom contained therein, often they overlook the musical and artistic beauty that they contain. Particularly Diwan-e-Shams, Rumi has created such a level of beauty through the use and the mastery of the musical rhythm and rhyme. If the words are difficult and the musical composition is equally difficult and the words fly above your head, it is the musician who simplifies the meaning, the essence of words through his musical composition that he weaves around the words. But Rumi was a composer, composed the verses and composed the music around it through the choice of the words, their arrangements, the mastery of rhyme and rhythm in such a way that he often creates a new vocabulary, using the same old word, yet creating a new feeling. Through the words, he is creating a feeling deep within you. And each time he uses the same word, It creates a different feeling, takes you to the different level. Furthermore, often he has such mastery to play on the words and puns. Or at the other time, he uses the same word with a different accent or vowel twice, or even thrice in the same verse with a slightly different meaning each time. One cannot help out but marvel at the linguistic mastery that Rumi displays through these compositions. This is the work of a sheikh to bring about transformation. A similar thing has happened in one of the compositions of Sanskrit language. Each letter is to be spoken in a particular way. Dandi composed something in Sanskrit language. It is the story of 10 princes. The first prince goes out to the forest for hunting. All of a sudden, an arrow comes hurling at him and he cuts off his top lip. Certain letters are spoken. Certain letters are spoken with the labial sound. When the two lips join together, sound is created. This is known as, in Sanskrit language, as pabal. The letters like p, p, observe, speak it, say p, and see how does your lips move. The air does not escape when the two lips join together. P, p, b, b. And after the prince, his top lip was cut off, the poet does not make him speak any letter from that composition. He did not use pabal because someone may question when his top lip is cut off, the air can easily escape. How can he pronounce the letter p? Rumi used that kind of artistry in the choice of the words. When he was to create a certain effect on the heart of the seeker, he uses the composition in such a way. In any case, the end result is the same, the experience of artistic beauty, musical genius, rhythm, and ecstatic energy, all in conjunction with the mental understanding of the wisdom contained therein. This is as close as one can get to the mystical experience itself, without actually being there with Rumi. In other words, his presence pervades his poetry, and one cannot help but be touched by such powerful and loving presence. Little by little of his birth and life, as this will help you to understand the compositions of Rumi even better. With a short introduction, Jalaluddin Rumi was born in 1207 in the city of Balkh in Afghanistan, the present day. At an early age, his family left Balkh because of the danger of the invading Mongols and settled later in Konya, Turkey. His father Bahauddin was a great religious teacher who received a position at the University of Konya, was Rumi's first teacher. Rumi's earlier spiritual education was under the guidance of his father Bahauddin and later under his father's close friend another Sayyid Burnuddin of Balkh. The circumstances surrounding Said's undertaking of the education of his young friend's son was interesting. Said had been in Balkh, Afghanistan, where he had the kashf or intuition of the death of his friend Bahauddin, that is the father of Rumi. He realized that he must go to Konya and take over the responsibility of Jalal's spiritual education. Jalal was then only 24 years old, and for 9 years Said trained him in the science of the Prophet, an inner state or the mukamats, the stages in the spiritual development. This began with a strict 40-day retreat and continued with various disciplines of Marakba and fasting. During this time, Rumi spent more than 4 years in other cities like Damascus, studying with some of the great teachers of the time. As years went by, Jalal grew both in understanding and God awareness. Eventually, Said felt that he had fulfilled his responsibility towards Jalal, and he wanted to spend the rest of his life in solitary sojourn. He told Jalal, "You are now ready, my son. You have no equal in any of the branch of learning. You have become a lion of knowledge. I am such a lion myself, and we are not both needed here. And that is why I want to go in oblivion. Furthermore, a great friend will come to you, and both of you will be each other's mirror." Said was referring to Shams. Shams and Jalal mirrored each other along the spiritual path. Shams and Jalal mirrored each other. And indeed, in the process of growth, the master and the disciple mirror one another. The same is expected between the male-female relation. The female companion mirrors the male companion, and the male companion mirrors the female. This is the ultimate in male-female relation. You have asked many times, what is the ultimate in male-female relation? The moment male and female mirror one another, the relation has attained. It's no more a relation, it has attained fruition. So Said said, "Furthermore, a great friend will come to you, and both of you will be each other's mirror. He will then lead you to the innermost core of his spirituality in your being, just as you will lead him. Each one of you will complement one another. Between two of you will flourish a bond of love and friendship beyond words." This was the indication of the advent of Shams of Tabriz. Shams became the central character in the life of Rumi. Rumi mentioned this in one of the compositions. At the age of 37, Rumi was then 37. Rumi was then 37 when Shams appeared. Jalal, at that age of 37, met the spiritual wanderer in Shams. Much has already been written about their relation. Prior to this encounter, Rumi had been an eminent professor of religion and mysticism, mystic. However, after he became he attained union with Shams, became an inspired poet and a great lover of humanity. Also, his poetic genius attained a new dimension. After receiving it, he began to outpour his awareness and understanding for the benefit of humanity through his compositions. Shams was burning and Rumi caught the fire. Shams was burning and Rumi caught the fire. However, Shams' companionship with Rumi was brief. In spite of the fact that each were reflecting the other, Shams disappeared not once but twice. First time, Rumi's son Sultan Weld searched for and discovered him in Damascus. The second disappearance, however, proved to be the final disappearance, and it is believed that he may have been murdered by people who resented his influence of Jalaluddin Rumi. Rumi was a man of awareness and sanctity before meeting Shams. However, it was only after the alchemy of his relationship with Shams he was able to fulfill Sayyid's prediction that he would imbibe the seeker's soul with fresh life and immeasurable quantum. This actually happened. And still today, Rumi has inspired many along the way. No one besides Shah Bahauddin Naqshband has been influenced immensely humanity more than Jalaluddin Rumi. Together, Shah Bahauddin and Jalaluddin Rumi formed the essence of man's inner core. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, I take you through the life and works of Habibullah, Mehboob-e-Subhani, Habibullah Mirza Mazhar Mir Jane Jana Razillah Ta'ala whose the congregation at his shrine was celebrated yesterday. Blessings and love to you.